Hi, I'm Vivek, and I'm going to introduce the topic of egocentric computer vision. Now, for this talk, I'll assume that you're familiar with computer vision, AI, and the general terms around that. Basically, computer vision is teaching AI models or machine learning models or robots to see and interpret the 3D world around us in a similar way as human beings would. Despite all the hype around AI, the fact is, these models can often make some very catastrophic mistakes, especially when it comes to understanding images or videos. Take, for example, this scenario where the machine learning model made a very silly mistake because it was not familiar with the broader context and the broader, let's say, interplay of light and shadows, which a human being would never make. The gist is that AI model learns from data and feedback. And as AI researchers, it is our job to make sure that we have the best quality data available for training our models and understanding downstream applications. Talking of applications, take this very simple example where the user, in this case me, am working in the kitchen preparing a snack. This perspective is what you would call a neutral third-person perspective or an exocentric perspective. In the opposition to that, this is what you would call a first-person perspective, which was captured using the smart glasses that I was wearing. It's called egocentric computer vision, AI from the first-person perspective. To research this, we are using the Project ARIA research kit from Meta AI, which contains a whole number of different sensors, such as multiple cameras, multiple microphones, as well as inertia sensors to understand the user surrounding and user movement, as well as different perception services such as eye tracking, hand tracking, and so forth. The whole ecosystem is built on top of open source libraries and open source frameworks to make it scalable and make it reproducible. Now, the general audience might be familiar with the technology that runs the framework in terms of commercial products such as the Apple Vision Pro, which is a very powerful device, but it's also quite heavy and not really comfortable to be worn for a very long time. The ideal form factor would be some sort of a smart glasses, which is also being launched and getting quite popular recently. Coming back to the same application that we discussed, this is the AI model trying to understand the user gaze and also estimating the hand pose and the wrist pose based on the data. The other cameras try to capture the 3D understanding and a 3D map of the environment, in this case, the kitchen. Now we reproject back the user perspective into the 3D space, as well as use the inertia sensors to understand how the user moved during the task. And this is a summary of all the things that we just discussed. Now, even if this is a very simple example and a very simple use case, there's a lot of complications involved when it comes to automation or understanding this process. Number one, you have to be aware of the 3D space around you. Number two, you have to understand the different objects in the environment and understand what do they mean and how they can be used. And the third thing is that as human beings, we are very good at planning and breaking very complex tasks down into very smaller subtasks, which is also not very easy for AI models. Of course, we don't want to develop applications for the kitchen. That was an example meant to spark our curiosity. We want to take these principles and apply them to industrial scenarios. We are researching and developing solutions for different scenarios such as data collection, Industry 4.0, as well as looking into basics of vision and language pairing, as well as understanding action, planning, and understanding specific scenarios such as assembly and disassembly, understanding how to use different tools and expanding user know-how, as well as training and knowledge transfer. And we envision that this could also be used for applications such as robotics. This is a poster from the recent CVPR workshop that we presented, and it goes into detail on our approach. As I said, we are using a multimodal approach. First of all, vision, also language. And the goal is to try and bridge the gap between subject matter experience and the digitization process, which the subject matter expert may not be very familiar with, but with the help of these devices can very easily explain and digitize their processes, which can then be used for downstream applications. At the same time, we're also paying very careful attention to understanding how to protect user-sensitive data, such as their eye gaze, their voice, and so forth, and also how to protect business-sensitive data, such as proprietary processes or proprietary tools and applications. This is an example of some of the tools and some of the assemblies that we have been studying in our project so far. And this is an example of the subject matter expert demonstrating how to use this tool in natural language.
You clamp it to a table or your workstation here. Here you can clamp an.
As you can see, the user is demonstrating how to use the tool and how to
the table.
pay attention to different things during its use. Here is another example where the user explains how to carry out this assembly process.
And align it with the holes and the slightly.
And here is another example in the same manner.
You have to take the two frames and connect them with the back together.
The lightweight and the hands-free nature of the device allows
Other frames also have
use cases to be digitized that otherwise may not be easily understood or easily be captured. Why am I talking about this, and how can we take this further? We are looking for different application scenarios and in particular, let's say, new areas of application which we can explore. So this could be either in the form of a process or also in the form of specific hardware, for example, assemblies, sub-assemblies, or tools that we could borrow or we could just digitize for a very short time and then use for training our machine learning models. At the same time, if you have some general recommendations for research directions or just examples for collecting data and training our models, that could be very useful. In general, we pay a lot of attention to protecting user-sensitive data and business processes during the study, and also making sure that we return the borrowed parts and assemblies as soon as possible to the original owner. Our emphasis in general is on making the best use of available resources. Thank you so much for listening to this. If you have any questions or if you want to discuss something, please feel free to drop me a message. Thank you.